Here we have some shadow figures that were taken in the Plymouth Rail Risk building of that corridor. It was myself and Kelly. It was before the investigation started and we were just going around taking photos. Kelly was stood behind me. I was using my Fuji camera, which I've actually converted into an infrared, so it'll take infrared stills. I took 2 photos, the flash didn't go off and we had a battery drain straight afterwards. You can see it. There was no one down there at the time, and what you can see is appears to be a woman holding a child with another one next to it. And as you can see, she's actually changed position within the 2 successive shots. We can't explain that. There's nothing down there that would cause that. There was nothing that could block out the light like that. That door is very, very reflective. You can see a reflection in there. That's because we have our CCTV set up at the end of that corridor because, yeah, we get a hell of a lot of activity down there. We've had things thrown, we had that...
What was it?
Plymouth Railway Station. It was in the Risk building, which is not open to the public, and yeah, it was before the main team arrived. We were just going around setting up, and I was actually just taking some shots of the location. Later that night we got an EVP of a child mimicking me and Kelly singing a Tissue from Ring a Ring of Roses. We've also had other figures appear in that area, as well as things thrown and a whole host of other activity. Yes, so I've said that, the plug blowing up on the CCTV. The camera turned on once, do you remember? It was flashing the light and, when no one was down there, when we had the Connect cam on the go. Yeah. Over the years we've been investigating that area. It turns out it was the poorhouse graveyard. This one was taken at Whitsands Bay Fort at a recce in 2015. Paul turned out the lights in the underground battery to show us what it was going to be like. I was picking up on a male energy behind me at the end of the corridor, which would have been there. Kelly snapped off a photo. Her flash didn't go off again. Not that she just turned off a flash, it just didn't go off. When she took another snap, there is nothing we can see that would cause that shadow figure. The only light that was visible is from a very, very small air vent that you can't see there that was casting light on that back wall. And we couldn't get anywhere near that area because of the wood that was there. Now it does look like he's carrying a gun. It does seem like he's wearing a glass helmet, but it was a very, very fortunate positioned piece of wood that looks like he's carrying his rifle there. But that shadow figure has been seen on many investigations that have been reported by different teams, and we were just lucky enough to capture it, but we couldn't figure out what had caused that shadow.
So this was a photo that was captured by an old member. It was right at the end of the investigation. Again, this is Plymouth train station.
That
we
corridor
were
again.
literally on the way out, and she just walked past, and she just went click as we walked down that corridor, and off she went. And she then sent this in to us. And can anyone see what is possible in that picture? So earlier in the night, I believe, I'm sure you were there with Liz as well. We were talking to a little girl. I believe her name was Hannah.
I think so, yeah.
We talked to her quite a lot throughout the night, and yeah, this picture just kind of appeared out of absolute nowhere. I don't know if you've got a zoomed in slide.
You can't zoom it in anymore because the image degrades, the noise.
Yeah, and you can see this. She's side profile. She's got short bobbed hair. Looks like she's got a little coat on. So it's practically like a full-bodied apparition. A lot of people say they can see faces and things if you can get the picture up on a smaller device next to her, but again that I would put that down to matrixing. But this one definitely, there is absolutely nothing down that corridor. Where she stood, she's also blocking out the doorway.
And the light, yeah.
And the light, so you can see where the doorway is, but she is actually blocking out part of the doorway. So yeah, she was a very interesting find.
Anybody have any questions?
3 shots should you take if you're taking stills?
Yes, it is best practice to take 3 shots if you're taking stills, again away from you, but again with things like dust particles and stuff like that, with air current flow they can actually move between shots. But it is best practice to take 3 shots if possible. As she said, she just literally snapped this off as we were closing up the building. So the rest of the team had gone.
Literally leaving to go home, she just went, just walked.
With regards to like reflections and stuff,
Yeah.
is it advisable not to wear like jewel? Because I've got like a wedding ring with diamonds in it and things like that. Is it worth not wearing those things for investigations?
Or just turn them round.
Or turn them round.
Turn them round.
Some
Yeah.
watch has got diamonds and stuff as well.
I mean,
so
you are going to get reflective stuff everywhere. I mean, we didn't have time to cover it, but we were going to go into thermal images, and if you're next to a reflective surface or even reflective paint, glossy paint, if you're using a thermal imaging camera and you're standing next to a wall, you can actually create a figure behind you from your own thermal reflection. So with using any kind of imaging technology, it's always best practice just to try and rule out the environmental and the mechanical before you jump into the paranormal. If you can rule all that out and then you've still got something, fantastic, that's what we want to see.
The digital cameras, do they create more anomalies?
They do, yes. Yeah, do 35mm in your film. You didn't get the orbs, and you don't get the digital noise. It is purely, as we've upgraded to digital technology, we've started to see these artefacts appear, and that's why they've been so prominent in the paranormal field, because they weren't there on the old film cameras. And Graham, who is into imaging technology, that's his job.
Yeah, I actually developed image sensors in semiconductors. So one of the things you will get, excuse me, one of the things you will find with digital imaging, you will get something where you have the photon which goes into the cell. Sometimes you will get leakage of the electron which has been converted from the photon into another pixel beside it, because the pixels are so dense nowadays. Sometimes you get this electron migration of the photon going in, and it just creates another fake image of itself, and you can get all sorts of weird image anomalies with digital imaging now because of it, because the pixels are so dense nowadays. So be careful with digital imaging because of that very reason. A lot of paranormal photography, they actually really like to use film cameras for that very reason, because of the weird anomalies and effects you get with digital imaging. So yeah, I mean, make what you will of it. I mean, photography is photography, and your brain interprets the information that you see in the photograph, and you can make any old stuff up if you want to. So it's an interesting field, but good to see you putting out all the real facts there, and you know, and everything else. Then try and make as you will from it, and hope that you've got something interesting. Thanks, Abbie.